Welcome back to Crafty Time. I've always loved making things, from food to furniture to fun videos to furious political commentary. And that is what this podcast is about. Not political commentary, but creativity and how it's applied by creative people in the creation of their creations. I'm Mark W. Gray. My co-host and daughter Fiona Gray is not here this week, but I am joined in the podcasting penthouse by Rod and Vince, RKVC.
What's up?
What's your tagline?
We are self-deprecating romantic pop rock.
You should give away pop rocks.
Oh.
That have a sticker.
That just insult themselves?
Yeah. We're terrible. Then you turn it over, and there's your QR tag or whatever, you know?
Exactly.
Pop rock.
I
Pop
like
rock.
that idea.
But anyway, I met these guys at YouTube Space about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, as Facebook has told us. And we're buddies. We've been working together and doing stuff, and these guys are total fixtures at the YouTube Space LA. Like, they will turn up, like they say, they'll come to the opening of an envelope. They'll come everywhere.
That was because, speaking of fixtures, it was just because Malika has this hold-up furniture and things, you know?
Oh, really?
Kidding. We ran out of chairs. Get Rod and Vince.
Get Rod and Vince. Rod, Vince, quick, go get some chairs.
No, we are the chairs.
You are the chairs. Oh, that explains
It's like, just bend over.
Well, you're very comfortable.
Welcome to entertainment.
So Rod and Vince are rock stars, basically.
Trying.
In the basic sense. They're songwriters. They're creators. They make music. Now, how'd you guys get together on this? I mean, I kind of know the story, but not really. I know you came from Delaware, and you're living this sort of gypsy, you know,
Vagabond.
Airbnb life out here on the West Coast, making it in the songwriting world.
Well, we met like everyone else. Tinder.
For bands. Well, back in 2009, 2010, I was a solo artist, and I had a fairly successful independent music career. My album was sold in Best Buys across the country.
Oh, yeah?
Song was placed in Rock Band 2. It wasn't always that way, but that's a whole nother story for a podcast. So it started going pretty well towards the end of my tour there, and after I did 300 dates in a row.
Wow.
For a year.
Just you and a guitar traveling around?
Me and a piano.
Oh, wow.
Which, by the way, if anyone's thinking about having their kids take lessons, like guitar, something portable is really good. 'Cause it's really hard to look cool and try to pick up chicks at a bar dragging a keyboard or piano through.
Yeah, but once you're at the keyboard, though, once you're like,
Yeah.
they asked me how I knew. Isn't that just a part of the expression, pussy magnet?
Yeah,
Panty dropper.
Panty dropper?
Not when you spend that 2 hours loading in, going upstairs and things. But anyway, so me and a piano on my Toyota, and towards the end things were going pretty well. So like the people who were helping me do promotions and things said, you have enough money to have like a band, and but the catch was we had this plan of doing satellite bands, so it wasn't like all of us got in a van and traveled.
Yeah.
I'd have an East Coast band and a West Coast band and like a Southern region, and so like they'd meet up with me at different gigs. And I was actually I was in LA for a little while and planning the East Coast like run, and had a recommendation for a guy named Matt Calvaries, who's a really great I don't know, I don't want to say just a session drummer, because he's a really great drummer. He played with a band called the Pat McGee Band and a bunch of other bands. And funny side note, years before that, I ran sound for his graduation before I even knew him. He was a nursing student, and I remember who he was because when they were introducing him, they said his quote for graduating was, he plans on never using this degree again so he can play drums. And anyway, so he was on my radar, and I got another recommendation for him, and I was also looking for a violinist, and so I went to go audition him and his friend that played violin, who happened to be Vince. When we got to audition, found out Vince didn't play violin, but that's how we got into the gig. So
I see. So wait, you were booked as a violinist?
Yeah.
But you don't play the violin?
Multi-instrumentalist.
Oh, you just showed up and go, did you represent
I could play
yourself?
violin.
As
Yeah, look, I have a pedal for my guitar. My guitar pedal that makes it sound like a violin. Is that good enough? Do I get the gig?
So
I have a violin in the house if you want to.
We could try it.
Yeah.
So then we played the last 2 or 3 dates, I think, of that tour. That was at the end of 2010.
Yeah.
And then Vince and I kept working together, kept writing, and actually Vince was like the other half of writing my second solo album.
Right.
And it got to be more and more of like a duo than just me. Like I was kind of the face of the project,
right.
But Vince was writing everything with me, or the songs he didn't write with me. Like he was there for the instances.
For the stories that were behind the songs.
Like the first song. I want to mention this song because I really wanted somewhere down history for it to actually do something like notable because I really believe in it. But there's a song called "There Is Only You." It's on my second EP called "To Love and Be Loved," and the short version of the story is I walked into this place, this venue, and there was a girl performing that I'd never met before. And it was one of those things that never happened. Like it's always in movies and stuff. Like time freezes, like everything's in bullet time.
You only see those things
like
in movies.
Tunnel vision. Like I just hear her. I don't even remember what she was. Oh no, I do remember what she was singing, and I was just enamored. Later, it found out that she was having like a really terrible day and just phoning it in, but it still like really captured me.
Connecting.
So this song "There Is Only You" is about like that moment. And we not only didn't work out, we never like were anything on the romantic side. But she's probably one of my best friends, and to this day doesn't know who it's about her.
Oh, really?
Only Vince knows who it's about.
Well, if she ever listens to this podcast, then she'll know.
Yeah. Well, no,
or will she not? There's like 5 different women who you might have walked in on in a bar and had this happened.
Well, that's the thing is though, she's heard this story and not known as about her.
She's gone, oh, that's crazy. Like never thought it was her.
Yep.
Oh, come on, man! You got to get.
Down the road.
Is she married and has a couple of kids now?
Yep.
That's what happens. You see La La Land yet?
No,
because that's all about. It's just barely opened, like yesterday.
Okay, yeah,
I saw it a week ago at some.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a couple weeks ago it opened at like 3 theaters in LA or something.
It was in one. It was at the AMC. And
then
Fiona was my daughter, my co-host, was so excited to see it. We like ran out on Sunday
because it's like the first positive movie about LA the city in a long time. Like everything's
like
about
Singing in the Rain. Yeah,
everything's about like New York. And how awesome New York is.
That's true.
Even like the Avengers is like New York's great, even though we demolish it.
Yeah.
Like fuck LA.
No, but yeah, it's gorgeous. It's beautifully shot. It's funny, and it's got like tap dancing and everything in it. And
this is a good year for us to see the movie because we've been in LA for over a year now.
Yeah.
So now all the things in that movie are like kind of like local haunts.
Right.
You know?
Yes,
Griffith
pretty much. It's a bit fantasy-ish. Like some of it's like the kind of geography of it, like in most films, doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, it's like you didn't just like leave the observatory and then like end up like in Santa Monica.
Yeah, like they drive like right up to the observatory.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
And then they, at another point they go to a party and they leave this like kind of Pacific Palisades looking party.
Yeah.
And then there's a valet. They're looking for their car because the party's over. And they walk and walk and walk, and they're clearly in Griffith Park overlooking the valley. Like I know the hill that they're on. But then again, the sun is like setting, but it never sets. It just stays perfect for like a 10-minute scene. Yeah. Where even if they shot it in real time, it would have gotten dark, you know. And so I thought, and films take takes and takes and takes, and you can't get it exactly on today. You're not going to set it up, so you have to come back tomorrow and try again. So clearly there's some special effects, or it's a set. Yeah. It's made to look like that overlook. Yeah. And if that's the case, why? Anyway, but I love that. It was a really fun film.
There was another TV series. We were watching Agent Carter.
Yeah.
And I know it was supposed to take place like in like the golden era of Hollywood or whatever, but there was like a scene where we accepted everything else. Like Peggy Carter like goes up and like shoots like 12 Nazis and like runs through everything. That's fine. And then she like pulls up to the very front of Griffith, runs out of the car, and runs into the observatory to catch somebody. And we're like, what? No, that didn't happen.
Well, back then, you probably could park right there.
I don't know.
There used to be a parking lot right there in front of it.
Well, there still kind of is. You're just not allowed to be in it. Really,
it's only for buses and VIPs.
Yeah, or
Uber.
Secret agents.
If you put an Uber sticker in the back of your car, you can just kind of...
Yeah, you can get in there, but you can't stay. I mean, you can't just park.
No, you just got to keep an eye out.
You take the sticker off when you get up there.
Oh, crafty.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Crafty time.
Crafty time.
That's how we make. Okay, so Vince, what's your backstory before Rod?
Well, I was a blimp pilot during the day, and
is that a euphemism for a flatulent individual?
Well, in that case, he never quit.
Well, now I say don't quit your day job.
Still going strong.
So, okay, blimp pilot by day,
and
secret agent by night,
musician by night, and really, I was just playing with everybody, and
in Delaware.
In pretty much East Coast. Even did a little bit of overseas stuff, and then I got to a point where I felt like I had done it, and I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
So I was never really a lyricist or a songwriter. I always tried, but it wasn't really my strong suit. It was always playing music, playing instruments.
Right. Well, what did you study in school? What did you study?
I did study a little bit of music in high school, but then after high school, I ended up getting more into like different things, and I kind of was spread all over the place. But it ended up working for me because now I'm like an instrumental utility knife.
Yeah.
So started playing with Rod, and then it was a weird time for Rod because he was coming off this like amazing year, and the next year was like a little bit more grim, and everything that he had like set out to do in his 30s he had accomplished in his 20s. So it's like you hit a wall. You're like, I don't know what to do now.
It's time to have babies.
Right.
But not really. I mean, it was weird because you think like, okay, cool, I got all that out of my system, and it didn't really happen. So I was really confused.
But you don't want it out of your system. You want that creative juice in your system. You want to keep making things.
It's weird because like in like 30s and over, like I feel like that sounds like common sense. But like I was in my mid 20s, so I was like, what do I do?
Really, because you're like successful doing this music stuff.
Yeah, I didn't have to like work like a day job or anything for like 3 years after that. But I don't know. It's weird. It's like if I knew then what I know now, like just common sense wise, I think things would be. It would have been a lot like.
So what did you have this sort of fear that oh shit I have to get a straight job now because I've had my childish rock star phase?
Not exactly. I didn't know like there was just no goals after that, and I never like had a point in my life where I didn't have goals.
But is it like the next album just the goal though? I mean, just do more songs and kind of just raise your game a little bit more.
Now that makes sense.
Yeah,
but at the time it was like, oh well, what do we go from here? Like I mean, it wasn't like it charted like topped the charts and like it became a household name, but like backing up a little bit, the whole tour like there was a friend that I was touring with a little bit before then.
Yeah, we
had this grand plan to like leave our day jobs for a year, go have that childish rock star fantasy for like a year, and then at the end say we did it, and then have a story to tell our grandkids. And he chickened out like the week before via email.
So, but you were planning to chicken out at the end. It sounds like take the straight job. Right?
Well, we were gonna. The plan was do it for 1 year,
yeah,
and then just say you did it. So, but he chickened out before we even started.
Oh yeah.
And so in my head it was like I'm gonna struggle through this year. We're gonna have some great memories and do it, and then the end of it be like, all right, let's find something. But at the end of it, I came out of it with like enough money not to have to work.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like. It's weird, like friends, but like no one missing you, like, but I mean, not the. It's weird, like so. That's
a good. You should write songs. That's a very poignant sentiment.
Well, yeah, it was like I went on the road and everything, and came back, and you have friends everywhere, so you visit and you tour and everything, but then like there's nobody like that wants you back home, and. Not that it should be like an incessant girlfriend or wife or anything like that, but like
it's not bad though. It's a pretty sweet gig.
If it's at least someone like with open arms back, it's something like family or friend,
some anchor.
Yeah, and there was great friends. Don't get me wrong, but there wasn't like a when are you gonna be back, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and so I don't know. It was just like a weird time because I don't want to like discount any of the friends I had.
Like, dude,
but, come on.
It was like there wasn't like another part.
Yeah.
To like whatever that was to
Shel Silverstein called it the missing piece.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of, that fits right back into the story. At that point, I felt like I needed this one thing, and it seemed like we were searching for different things, but kind of similar in a sense that he needed like a kind of a solid base again, and I was searching for like answers.
Yeah.
So like when we met, we kind of like filled each other's voids in a way, and ended up like connecting on an even deeper level with like just the personal things that were happening in our lives, and that all came out in the music.
I remember that when that happened. So all right, hoping we're not going to out her because I think you can find out who she is. But on my first album, there's a girl that's on the album cover with me. Her eyes are covered, but I think some people can figure out who she is.
Okay.
We never had like I don't think we had any romantic but each of us had histories with the same girl.
Oh, okay.
Right, and we didn't know that before being friends. And so Vince was over one day. We were like writing some music, and he looked up on the wall, and my album was in a plaque because the various.
It's like, hey,
things.
Is that Shelley?
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. What do you know about? It's like I don't want to give too much of the story.
I know her as Tina, though.
Yeah, and
this is weird.
So we were like,
I was trying to make up a name. To cover,
but yeah, this is a little. But that anyway. So that we were like looking at each other. We're like, oh my god.
You too?
Yeah.
You have so much in common.
Yeah.
You guys. Yeah.
Just bit by the same Black Widow. But
Ooh. Again, are you writing this stuff down, or did you already use that? Is that already in something?
No, I just speak.
That's fucking good.
Actually, it's funny. We have this friend, Jess. Actually, what's her name now? Vaughn. It used to be Jess Poland. She was known as Charlotte sometimes in Laces, but she's a songwriter as well. She's
just 4 names: Jess, Vaughn, Charlotte, and Laces.
Yeah,
Cool.
She's a much more successful songwriter than we are. But we came to this realization that like a lot of songwriters write your best material when you're just talking.
Yeah.
And then when you're writing, you're like, what do I say?
Well, that's like Chris Hardwick says. Like he has like an assistant for his podcast.
Yeah.
Who basically takes show notes, and whenever everyone laughs, he like writes down whatever the gag was.
Gotcha.
Then he can go back and look at it and say, "Oh, I'm using that," and like mine it for comedy.
Because when we hang out with Jess like at a bar or something, she'll just talk and like 20 song titles happen in like 3 sentences. Like, Jess, you should write these down.
Right. And if
I got a million of them.
we end up writing them down.
Yeah. But so I remember that moment happening. We're like, oh god, these girls are the worst. Not all girls, these ones. And so we decided to like take a positive spin on it for both of us. So I didn't really collaborate a whole lot. I had a producer I worked with, but I didn't really like write with a whole lot of people, and I don't know how much collaboration Vince did writing. But we're like
much writing, but collabing on everything else.
Yeah.
We're like,
that's all I did.
Let's sit down and like write something. So like I remember the first song we wrote together was on my second album called Girl Just Knows, and it's still out. You can like look it up. But we decided like instead of talking about like all the crazy relationships and like things going wrong, like we're gonna talk about like look over the horizon and write about like the relationship that does work eventually, hopefully, like where we kind of want to be. And that came from our friend Richie Rubini, who always told us like amateur songwriters write about exactly what's going on. Like there's a table, there's a phone, there's some coffee. Like I feel terrible. And like good songwriters like do it poetically. Yeah. But great songwriters go way like on the other side of the horizon of their experiences. And so that's kind of like we could write a million songs about like not getting the girl like everyone else. Yeah. But let's write something like intelligently from the other side.
Aspiration. Like that Beatles song, I Will. You know that song?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. Mm-hmm. It's all about who knows how long I've loved you, though I've loved you still.
Yeah.
Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you ask me to, I will.
Yeah.
Or want me to, I will. It's like, I get chills. I love that song.
Yeah. I mean, even that's kind of similar to Beach Boys, like God Only Knows. Oh, God only knows where I'd be without you. It's like sounds depressing, but if you really think about it, it's, I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's great stuff. We play all these in my ukulele group, actually. You guys should come on Tuesday.
There you go.
So you've been threatening to come for a year.
I know. I want to bring the cajon.
So you never wrote songs before you guys got together?
A few. Because I've been in so many projects before this, and like I was either just the instrumentalist or one of the bands I was in. It was me and another guy were both lead singers. So we never could really decide on like who's going to be the lead singer.
Oh yeah.
So when we would cut albums, I would bring my songs to the table. He'd bring his, and then we kind of just like smush them all together. But I would end up singing the ones I wrote. He would end up singing the ones he wrote.
Right.
So it's just like a weird thing. But so I do have like a catalog of some songs that I've written, but it was never. It was always like, here's a table. I'm sad. I'm tired. Like I didn't have that like, I don't know, the aptitude to like really write something amazing, and I was missing that. Oh. So like,
which is funny because
Rod helps me a lot with the lyrical side of music.
It's funny because like until having that like those scenarios painted out by our friend Richie, I felt like that's how I wrote, like very literally. Like the first song that kind of popped off on like local radio for me was a song called By Now. Yeah. And the first words I believe are lying on the hotel floor, like with this phone carefully balanced on my face. It was like, that's exactly what's happening. It was a fucking depressing time, It's
like that Tracy Chapman, like looking out the window.
Yeah.
Just describe everything you see.
Drive a fast car. But I guess it sounds metaphorical.
Yeah.
The things, and so between the first and second album I was working on with Richie, he said, well, there's a rule in like commercial songwriting. You try to write broadly and universally,
right,
so that everyone can,
to reach everybody,
as many people as possible feel like that song's about them.
Right.
And that doesn't. It kind of resonates with me, but like I don't think I could. I don't know. I don't know if I thought that way, if I could like write like that. But I feel like a lot of human experiences are universal.
Yeah.
So Richie used to say that I write, it's specifically general.
Mm.
So like the very specific circumstances, but like at the core of it, like, oh yeah, I've been there. Like there was a song that Vince and I wrote for the first RKVC album called Waiting.
Yeah.
Still one of our favorites because, what it's about in general and principle is about how like when you are insecure and you wait to do something that your purpose or whatever, it doesn't just affect you. It's like ripples. It affects everybody around you, people you love. So like if you're not where you're supposed to be, like maybe in a relationship, then there's someone else out there who's not in the relationship with you they need to be, and your family's worried about you. There's like a whole and like endless butterfly effect. But I remember when we finished writing it, one of Vince's sister's friends like walked into us writing it, and we showed her the song, and she was like, "Oh my God, finally some guys wrote a song about commitment issues and not putting a ring on it." We're like, I guess that's the same thing, like that's not what we were thinking. I mean, the truth be told, like we wrote it after coming back from Montreal, like a really crazy, unspeakable weekend with a bunch of a group of guys went out for a bachelor party for a week.
Yeah,
we'll just leave it at that. We erased our phones at the border, and
all photos erased, please, right now.
God dang. And Montreal,
it was fun. The girls
very inexpensive strip clubs up in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Just say the poutine was amazing.
yeah, exactly.
You're a real poutine hound.
Oh yeah, gravy and all.
Mm-hmm. And the girls know how to
grab them by the poutine.
Girls know how to keep it warm up there.
But anyway, some cheese curds.
So we were, I remember it was one of our last nights in Montreal. We were like, we've never been as drunk since then. And
I've seen you guys pretty drunk.
Yeah, you have not even seen
Oh, really?
We came to California. We're like, we have to reshape our lives.
We got to get it together.
Yeah. so when we were in Montreal, like this insane. Anyway, Vince and I are back at the hotel room. Like, all right, we got to go back to the U.S. tomorrow. Blah blah. And then we just start like violently crying, confessing, like apologizing to each other for like everything in the past. So it's like I'm so sorry for being an asshole about that one girl 3 weeks ago.
Just imagine like a 2-hour conversation of and now picture my cousin and actually both my cousins passed out behind us. So it's like the slow pan over to like, there's more people in the room
drooling. It's fantastic. I'm surprised you remember all of that, because usually.
Oh no! See, that's the part we remember. So
yeah, so it's probably even more.
No, I just remember leaving a peep show hotel and then passed out, and it's.
And it wasn't until like after that we had to like reconfigure all these puzzle pieces and actually create something out of it,
And like even though it was a ridiculous situation, like there was still like a really true sentiment from it. Like we left there like, God, we got to get some stuff, get our shit together.
Well, you have though. You're totally like killing it.
Thank you.
Killing the game.
Killing
but
something.
you guys, you can't see Rod and Vince, but they dress alike all the time. If you've ever seen them, you would remember, because there's a distinct look you guys have: the red shirt and the black vest and the black pants. And then you have the same glasses too. I have the same glasses pretty much, but independently.
we have the same eye prescription. That wasn't on purpose.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, actually.
So, and you probably have the same blood type and the same.
I actually don't know my blood type.
Yeah,
so.
It's all right. Tell people you have the same blood type.
Yeah.
And then if one of you gets hit by a car, I'll be like, I take my blood. Go, dude, no, we made that up. Well, where did that come from? Where did the RKVC, like the whole initialism and the logo and the branding, how did that get started?
Well, in my days of, piloting blimps, there was this thing I saw through my binoculars, and it was actually him on stage playing. I'm looking down and I see...
Outdoor venue, like a festival sort of situation.
The Goodyear blimp. I had a good job. It was great. And I was over, it was like the flower market in Delaware or something, and he's performing, and I realized the red shirt he was wearing and actually the black vest he was wearing was eye catching, and it was like, oh man, if we were to wear something, it'd be something like that. And then Rod's like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. Now, did I know it was like going to turn into all this? No, but I'm like astounded at how much branding actually occurred from just this one little me and a blimp thing,
This story, I'm proud of you because the story's getting less cringy every time.
I know. Yeah, before it was way worse.
Oh, really?
Way worse.
Someone died.
It was a last wish.
Then the radio interviewer asked how they did in their final days.
It was pretty morbid.
I guess the short answer for the outfit part is, I remember there was the first show. It wasn't even as RKVC. I think it was still Rod Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were playing this god awful venue that is not even worth mentioning. And we decided it was the first time we were going to debut this album that we just finished. It was my second solo album, and I don't know. At some point we decided we need something. We need to carry over the artful expression outside the album and on stage. And it wasn't just the outfits. It was we need to make sure it's not just an acoustic rendition of this album that we worked so hard on,
right?
And things. So we got the computers out, all this stuff to make the show a show,
right?
And
got our nerd on
because we've always believed that most people you only get a few hours a day and then maybe 1 or 2 days a week to spend free time. So we have to make it worth coming to see us because we don't want to be a bunch of favors.
Right.
And so we it was all that, and then the outfit thing was part of that. In that
you wanted to have a costume, a show,
kind of, yeah, but not be too
not like Elton John or something.
Yeah, it was just
though
you're a unit, and so that was the first time the outfits came out that I remember.
Well, the Beatles had those suits that all matched too. I think there's precedent there.
I think that was one of the examples. I think we watched that and maybe a Maroon 5 performance or something.
Did they dress up?
It's all uniform. It's always a uniform.
Really?
Were some times where they were all wearing red jumpsuits for one of their performances.
It was something that struck us, even if they didn't carry it into every day,
their everyday life,
right?
Or even I passed that one performance, they do an award show and it's a look,
yeah,
and they don't move it on from there. But
it's an identifier. It's like the guy in the airport with a guitar.
Yeah,
it's guy with a guitar.
But the specific outfit, it's kind of generic to say, but I think we both it was our personalities. It was just we looked and this is all right. Yeah.
Well, a vest is a real accessory. It's a vestigial garment. No one needs a vest.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Besides give you that pocket.
Yeah.
For your watch, for your pocket watch, which you don't have.
No.
You could though. That'd be another branding thing.
I got an awesome
RKBC
pen.
pocket watch.
I was keeping an awesome pen.
Oh yeah.
I found a note from Michelle in there.
Oh yeah.
In a vest pocket.
Yeah.
She
right before
friend of ours. Yeah.
Right before she left LA, she stuck a note in our pockets while getting drinks and said not to look at it. So we found those. If you're listening to this,
that's sweet. but it is kind of you don't see people wearing vests really. I mean, it was a thing Annie Hall in the '70s. That was the brought vest in for a while, And but it's cool, And now you're wearing these T-shirts today that just have vests silk screened on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you never have just the red T-shirt. This is the casual RKBC, right?
Yeah.
These shirts were made by Spaceboy Clothing in Wilmington, Delaware. Dave Sanchez, Noah, Gabriel, all them. They're great friends of ours. And recently, this is post RKVC shirts. They are doing big merch. They're doing all Amy Schumer's merch now.
Oh yeah. So is this your merch too? When you sell merch, is it this shirt with your tour dates on the back?
It was, and they're a little hard to make, so we try not to make David do it too much.
Oh, because it's so much ink, such a giant.
There's 5. They have to run these shirts 5 times.
Because it's 2 feet of printing on
so they have to do each side of the vest and then 3 colors on the back.
That's
God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens.
5 screens.
Why 3 colors on the back? That seems like a little overkill. Because your logo.
Black, white, and red.
You could boil that down though, since your shirt is red.
Yeah, but it's still a complicated process. So we sold it as merch and it was fine. But I hate shirts as merch because it's you never
get a lot to carry. You don't have the right sizes.
Yeah. So we sold out of the initial run. We have a couple. I think
you should just sell the sexy girl shirts.
Yes.
You know, because they're smaller, they're easier to carry.
Yeah.
and then you don't see yourself. You see like cute girls with your merch.
But I think one day we were hired to produce a record in Dallas, and we were going through the airport, and the first time we had to go through the airport in the real vests, and everything, it's just a whole, like, it looks so suspicious.
Like, who are those guys?
And like we have to like undress like 3 layers of clothing, and it's just not comfortable because you're on a plane. The plane's not comfortable anyway.
Yeah.
So then we're just not comfortable. So like we were like, fuck it. So we got like black shorts, and then we like put on the shirts we had in our merch, and we were like, it's not too bad.
So it started out as a merch shirt.
Yeah.
The fake vest T-shirt. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then we just started.
It was like a gag, like the tuxedo shirt.
Like a tuxedo shirt. Yeah. When I was 12, that was the funniest thing in the world. I absolutely had a tuxedo shirt that I cherished.
So that's a short version of that, and then the name RKVC.
Yeah. So
funny. Lauren Weissman is a great music consultant. He's a good friend of ours, and someone who helped kind of. I won't say he created RKVC, but he created the possibility of it.
Yeah.
Because I'd had such success with the solo project. He was kind of like, "Are you crazy? You want to throw all that away? Start a new band?" And so we met with Lauren, and he kind of like shaped all our marketing and stuff. We didn't have a band name or anything. We didn't even know what to call this. You know, I think we came in with some ideas that, like, on hindsight,
the Jordanaires.
Yeah, right. It was well, not even that good. I think like we came in and we're like, well, this would be called the
Road Work.
Something.
Road Work.
I think at some point
because of the vests. You have orange vests. Yeah. For that, yeah.
I forget what some of the ideas were, but he was
vestigial.
Like, he was like, I don't know, guys. But he was like, we need. Well, so back up a little bit. So, marketing people had always told me that I have a very good stage name, very memorable stage name, Rod Kim.
It's like Coca-Cola. It's got a K in it.
But my face is very forgettable.
Oh.
And so for the first 2 solo albums, you'll see the glasses that I had them custom made for me. So it was something identifiable on my face.
Right.
And they told Vince, and then people told Vince, like, he has a very memorable face, but Vince Sereno is an extremely forgettable name.
Okay.
And
it's harsh, but okay.
Yeah. But it's been consistent. Like, people, like, even like when we go to like YouTube space, we go to meetings and we meet new people. They're like, so I remember Rod's name, and what's your name again? Like, Vince.
Well, for me, the letters RKVC. That's the perfect mnemonic. I remember it.
So Lauren, our consultant, like, he was like, we need something that is you guys, because it's more than just like it's not just like a band with interchangeable parts. It's you guys. It needs to be catchy. It needs to be iconic. So he writes down the letters on a piece of paper and slides it across the table.
Really?
We're like looking at this and we're like, how much are we paying you? But it's
kidding, right?
But it's been totally true. That's how it was. We're like, like, it works. To us, I remember the first thing I thought was like, oh yeah, there's MGMT. And like stuff like, even They Might Be Giants goes by like
TMBG.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, I can see that. Why not? And then it just turned into a thing.
Yeah.
TMNT.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
ACDC.
ACDC?
Yeah.
But that doesn't stand for anything. That's just like the electrical power.
And,
NWA, ELO.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Now, what we haven't figured out is what RKVC stands for outside of the names.
Okay.
So we're going to figure that out.
RKVC.
It's a magical thing that's actually happened, though, because speaking of, like, what it stands for, what it stands for is you start to see it like bleed into culture and friends and everything. And an example is like for a friend's birthday, I'm like, "Hey Peter, happy birthday," and he comments back like, "Thanks, TYVC." But then that's just one of thousands of examples over the years, and you start to really see that people like enjoy it. And it's like you don't really think that's going to happen when you first start. You have no idea like of all the things it'll influence and people it'll touch and stories you'll have later on. It's just weird that here we are like 4 years later and we have all these great stories to tell.
Well, I tell you how you'll know that you're like super famous is when it's in a New York Times crossword puzzle.
There you go.
It'll say like
we have some calls to make.
Yeah, exactly. Wheel shorts, good. If you had more vowels, you'd have a better chance.
Yeah,
there you go.
Because all those things like Oto-Oi is like an Indian tribe that I only know because of crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
Or Utes, or the Utah Indian tribe.
Yeah.
It's like you need all them vowels. 2 Utes. What's a Ute?
at the core of it, like we've always wanted to balance like business with creativity.
Yeah.
And so like we are like we're a business, we're like a registered business, and this is how we make our
Well, in
living.
Delaware, it's cheap to register.
Yeah.
That's where you want to incorporate. So.
Yeah, so we're incorporated in Delaware, and I don't know. So we have that stuff, but also we have a mission statement that we always go back to when we like kind of lose sight of our goals.
All right, what's your mission?
Our mission statement. It's not public.
Oh, really? It's personal for you.
But well, it's personal and it's like business. But like the core of it is we always want to be like the escape. Like that sounds a little like grand, but not it's not as like Star Wars-ish as it sounds. Like I know like when I go out and see entertainment, like the new Star Wars just came out and any of the Marvel movies and stuff, like people's daily lives are shitty enough.
Yeah,
like, you don't want to see that replicated anywhere else. Even not even just movies and songs and things. And there's places for that, but we try to be is the option to be the other thing, like the best possible perspective on what might be happening. So
it's a pinch of things to relate to with enough escapism for people to get out of their dailies.
So that's essentially what it is. That's why the stage show, even though it's not necessarily like extravagant like a Spanky Valentine show, which you have Google Spanky Valentine live show and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I will.
That's insane.
I know Spanky.
Yeah, and but we nothing.
She does
like,
much better than I do on YouTube.
well,
she's more attractive.
Well, the algorithm is flatlining, like evening out the playing field for a lot of people.
That's true. I think maybe I'll benefit by that a little bit since I do publish infrequently enough. But that's the whole reason I started the podcast is because Tim King, who I know from New Media Expo and other kind of like tech events, and YouTube events, he called me up. He's like, "Hey, how's everything going on YouTube?" And I was like, "Well, it's flat." He's like, "Well, you know what? Podcasting. You can do that stuff forever because podcasting, that's where the action is." I was like, "Oh, really?" Because apparently there are paths to success.
Yeah, it's like Megan Todd just has like 20 podcasts.
Oh, I know.
But she makes sense. Like we've been talking about maybe doing a podcast, but like Megan, like you can literally just turn on a mic and then split up her few hours of conversation into like 6 different podcasts. She's just a big personality. She's amazing.
Yeah. I've known who she was for like 5 years. I maybe met her, but I only met her with you guys the other day. Really.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and like we chatted for like 2 hours.
Oh, nice. At the snack party?
No, at YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And then again at the snack party.
Gotcha.
Now we're pals now forever.
Yeah,
so,
good. Yeah. And you've gone through a rite of passage when she like insults you deeply.
Oh,
like
okay. I've yet to have that.
But it improves you as a person.
Oh,
it's
really?
Something like you didn't observe of yourself.
I don't know about that. I could take or leave that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sure, I could take. That.
I love I watch Megan's daily videos because I love one of her friends is Phil and Lindsay DeFranco.
Right.
Or I guess I'm not one of her friends, but I started thinking
He's
about
friends
just Phil.
with Phil.
Yeah. So she's friends with Phil and also Lindsay.
Right.
And so Phil's new show is like middle of the road, like he gives his opinion, but he's always like open to like, let's talk about this. Like, this is open. Megan's just like, no, that's shit. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no,
and I like that.
I'm more like that too. I don't pull any punches. I try to be conciliatory a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
And not just,
one-sided.
tell people are idiots, but
yeah,
I do call us in the comments. I will.
Yeah.
Like if people like, I'll get in it in the comments.
Yeah.
And say that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. But, I love negative comments. I love the trolls. Megan's the same way. She loves the insults and the trolls.
She did these 2 videos. At the end of one video, she asked her subscribers to insult her in the comments, and she would read the best of them the next day. So she read the best of the best insults the next day, and they were hilarious.
Creative.
Now, did any of them make her go, oh, or was it all just like she loved it? Oh.
She always loves that stuff because most people don't know is even if you hate like a YouTuber, if you actually engage with them, that's still engagement.
Oh, sure.
And that's all that advertisers care about.
Like hate watching, I'll take hate watching.
Yeah,
I love it. And actually, I love getting negative comments because it means you're reaching beyond people who love you. Reaching beyond your little bubble of people who are into what you're doing. People like I've done so many political videos lately with Professor Puppet. And I get like half the comments are like, "This is great. I love you. You're the best. This is great." And then about a quarter are, like very kind of trolly, very like they only found it because it was anti-Trump and they've been assigned to come and dig it. Like very negative and just long screeds that are like mostly copied and pasted. I think. But then about a quarter say, "I love your videos, but I disagree with your politics. Please don't do politics. Just do go back to Comic-Con, puppet, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, nah, screw you. I do what I want.
Yeah. That's the beauty of YouTube, you know. It's like independent contractor. You take or, do what you want or not.
Well, I saw a talk at New Media Expo a couple of years ago. This guy who's got, trillions of subscribers on blogs. And he said there is a plus and a minus to polarizing people, to being polarizing.
Yeah.
Like if you come out like you're Ann Coulter, right? And you come out and you say a bunch of crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
You're polarizing people, so half of the country hates your guts.
Yeah.
But the other half loves you
Yeah.
and is deeply into you.
Yeah, defending you.
And just gets in there.
Yeah.
And they're in there with you. And those people are like annealed, like a sword. And they are just with you all the time. And this guy was saying, go ahead and be incendiary. Go ahead and be polarizing.
Yeah.
Because the people who you get, you got.
Yeah.
And the people you don't get are still paying attention.
Yeah.
And, you're not going to, don't worry about alienating people like that.
That's kind of why, connecting to the YouTube thing, we've had the YouTube channel for 3 or 4 years now, but we've only actively been trying it for the last year or so, since meeting you.
Yeah.
Where it's a slow growth, but a very organic one.
But you can feel it though. It's happening.
Yeah. I know that organic is a word that's thrown around a lot in YouTube and entertainment in general.
Now free range growth.
Yeah. But I'm okay. I'm going to move this off the table because it's vibrating the table.
I just turned mine off because
my phone's going off.
Mine's like an inch from my mic. It was I have to go back and cut those buzzes out.
But our growth, the subscribers we have, I feel through the comments and stuff, actually, either like us or support us or want to see whatever it is.
Yeah.
We have next because I don't know. So recently we had a little bump, and a video we put out almost a year ago went from 100 views to 88,000 views in a few weeks, and the comments have been going nuts. It's been like a forum.
Yeah.
And we were just preparing ourselves because you take good with the bad. There's not really that many bad comments. Most of it are pretty positive, and I think out of 125 views between 2 videos and over thousands of comments, I think there's 3 or 4 negative comments.
Yeah, that I kind of get the same thing.
And
mostly.
most of the comments, 2 of the 3 comments are completely unrelated to the actual content. It's they're oh, 2 guys in red shirts and vests, they must be gay. You're
why is this in my feed? You get that sometimes.
Maybe. Well, I actually we haven't gotten that yet.
Why is this broke ass puppet in my feed? I've got that.
Yeah. So ours has been and the thing is there was one comment specifically I think about that. They're why were these guys dressed alike? Which is always funny to us because if that's the worst thing about your day, you have a great life. It's some stranger.
It's these guys on the internet are dressed alike.
Yeah.
God, why?
Yeah. So, but
I can't handle it.
I can't handle it.
We just kind of left it alone because most of the time when we did the what the fuck Donald Trump video with you, those negative comments come through and we're I know we're terrible, but because it's fun.
But that makes it fun when you get that and you say, yeah, you're right.
But on our thing,
that makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Really.
But then on our thing, we got the couple and we left one specific one alone because we're not sure if there's anything they gained from that. But then the rest of the community just came after this one person. It was just piranhas, and we're I think we have the right audience.
Yeah.
So they're
engaging.
Coming back to the original point was I feel the organic growth, even though it's a little bit slower, is getting us the right audience. So
that's absolutely true.
So we'd much rather have that ride or die audience than
well, that's true because if you have a viral sensation and then suddenly you get 100,000 subscribers who don't really know you, they just thought this one thing you did was shareable, and then they see what you're really about, then they're like, what's this, do more of that other funny thing you did, that's then you're serving that beast, then you're dealing with what the masses want.
That's still better than 100 or 1,000 people subscribing and then forgetting they subscribed.
Yeah, that's true.
we
you got to keep at them. You just keep feeding the beast.
We got to meet
Content's
someone.
king.
We got to meet someone yesterday. That I won't say who he is in case he doesn't want us to talk about him. But he's done really big things in the social media world.
Yeah,
and it was great. Got to have lunch with him and everything. And he kind of caught wind of that big. So the video that hit for us recently was called 7 Types of People at Guitar Center. And then we did a follow up 7 more types based on the comments. And then recently we just did Guitar Center in real life.
Yeah.
Where we did that video, but actually walked into a Guitar Center for
intercut with new shots.
I mean, we literally just walked around a Guitar Center for 15 minutes and found all the things.
There's that one. Yeah.
They were all there.
And
it's true.
Since that one kind of hit for us. This friend that's very knowledgeable in social media world was like, oh, let's think of other, like, actually, I think, oh yeah, you were there for a conversation. Let's think of other, types of people, and we were like, oh, we don't know if we want to go down that rabbit hole,
right?
But
like, you could though.
I mean, there's a couple of things that, like, you mentioned the Apple Store.
My idea was the Apple Store. Yeah,
that makes sense because that's like a, like that's.
Though you should see if someone's done it because they probably have.
Maybe
they might be terrible though. You maybe do a much better one.
Well, I think what kind of helped us was with we had two little bumps in that Guitar Center video. One was over the summer and one was in the fall. The one in the fall I think was more organic, like it got in like a bunch of recommended feeds.
Yeah.
But the one in the summer I think happened because there's another YouTuber named Jared Dines.
Uh-huh.
We don't know Jared at all, but he seems really nice, and we don't want to criticize his video at all because he has a much bigger subscriber base than us, and he doesn't seem he seems great, but like. His video.
Go on. That's the fake praise.
Well, it's real because like everything I see, like he looks like super nice. So, but he did a video similar that was like employees at Guitar Center or something.
Yeah.
And it was clearly like not in a Guitar Center, and like it was like scripted out like a skit. And ours are kind of skits, but they're kind of like in the vein of like how Anna Akana just
like an act out.
Yeah, it's like a clear like this is in my bedroom.
Yeah, she puts a little mustache on. I love what she does that.
And Anna's more produced too now, but she keeps that spirit of like a DIY thing. Yeah. And so that's kind of what we did. Like we literally, anytime there's a female in the skit, like we just put a wig on one of us, and then go.
But you don't change the shirt or anything.
No, it's just the wig, and stuff like that. But like because we know like we're not actors, and so that's not our strong suit. So like. Jared's skit with like the employees at Guitar Center, like to me was like that's funny. Like the ideas of it were funny, but like for me personally, I like our like it was like a little more
the
like
execution
on the thing. So we still don't have as many views as that video did, but I think like ours got like a bump because it had like a cleaner execution.
Now you say it got a bump because his got a ton, and you got swept in to the SEO of that.
I think that initially happened, but then I think it also there's no other videos before Jared besides ours. Like ours and Jared's were the first ones in there, but Jared's did his like months after ours. But I think his huge subscriber base put the taste out there for it.
That happened to me.
Yeah,
because I did the first ever vlog in Guitar Center, oddly enough, in 360 with the Theta camera.
Oh, okay.
And I did this video, and I cut together, because I was just trying to figure out how do I cut together this 360 stuff. Will it work? And I did that. It's about a 5 or 6 minute vlog of just me, old middle-aged man, driving around, going through things in my day. I went to Guitar Center and I played ukulele and looked at all the pedals and everything.
Yes.
And I was probably 2 or 3 of the people in your video. And then I put it up, and it was like, it got like a couple hundred views, what I normally get. I've got like 2,000 subscribers on that channel. And then Roman Atwood, who's a major prankster and vlogger, he got a Theta camera, probably for free.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, world's first 360 vlog. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked terrible because that camera kind of is terrible.
Yeah.
But it was like he like did a bunch of stuff and put it on a balloon or drone or something and ran around with Casey Neistat and did a bunch of stuff and he got like 10 million views in 2 days on that. So what video pops up next, which is 360 vlog, the only other one on YouTube. It just popped right up, and so I changed. I was like, wow, I got like 10,000 views in a day. On like a lot of views. And so I changed the title to first 360 vlog on YouTube, which it actually was. I can't find one older. And all his little fans came after me. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Roman has the first vlog. I'm like, check the dates, kid. And they're like, no, you can fake that. No, you faked it. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
How do you fake a timestamp?
Or like I'd say, nope, it's mine. Well, here's the first one that doesn't suck, old man. It's like, okay, thanks for watching. Keep coming. All these threat views count.
Yeah.
But that's true. You get I was there in the ocean when the wave came. You know what I mean? So I caught it.
I think it's the same for us, but also like the subject, like kind of like now it's like something that's actually like it's a thing now. Like people are like on because there's more videos popping up now.
Yeah.
And so maybe we didn't cause the initial, but we were one of the first when it happened.
Well, remember like 2 years ago that was like things white girls say or things, and then it was like things gay guys do, and it's like all those. Yeah. And they're all like one person acting them all out.
Yeah.
Some of them are a bunch of different people, but that was a huge thing.
If there was a part of the game of the social media thing that we're trying to play is figuring out like that title and the numbers and the list and stuff. Like Matt Santoro was like at least at one point was the king of that. 10 things about 50 amazing facts, And so we were like, we're literally just going to go through the numbers. So if you want to look through our old videos, you'll see like 5 things that you can 10 stuff. And, like,
I've been doing 5s a lot lately too, because like a list. Human brains love lists.
Yeah. So we figured out either our audience or in general, like that number 7.
Yeah.
It just like stuck. So we're like, okay, we're 7 of everything.
You're gonna get 7 of everything. That's
yeah.
Good, yeah.
And so like
now that the algorithm favors longer videos, maybe 7 is better than 5. You know?
Yeah.
Like the one you guys did with me, the 5 theories of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know, that was a big number there.
That was a fun one.
Which I think it ends up being. I was right. It is number 5, and he still won. So if those of you listening have not seen the 5 theories of Donald Trump, go and find it on the Professor Puppet channel, starring Rod and Vince and Professor Puppet.
It's a good one. And you know, like now a year later after hanging out the YouTube space, we've kind of ended up being the Where's Waldo of big production YouTube videos.
That's true, yeah.
And we're like popping up everywhere, but you were the first.
Oh God, thank you. Yeah. Well, so we should talk about songwriting a little bit. Like, how do you write a song? How do we do it? I mean, because I took a songwriting course a couple of years ago, which I loved because I knew how to play the ukulele, and I knew what I finally learned, like, what a key is and how that works, and then I learned like a bunch of stuff about it. But what's your approach? How do you guys write songs?
This is such a big thing.
Like you sit down and go, okay, we need 4 songs in this weekend, or do they just come to you while you're on the bus?
There's really no simple way of explaining.
Yeah,
but we'll try our best. For how we write songs, at least, I guess.
This sounds like a cop out, but it'll get better. Because it is really like always different.
Yeah.
But if we were to like figure out a formula or a place to start, I think the things you were talking about in songwriting classes, like you always have to have the basis.
Okay.
Like you have to know like the language you're writing in before you write in it. So like if we're writing a book or something, we obviously need to know how to read and write in English.
Okay.
You know, for the English audience or the American audience or whatever. So like, you know, knowing keys and chords and all that stuff. But to me, I think the broadest piece of advice would be just like to listen to other stuff that you want to be like. I guess I don't want to say like emulate because you don't want to copy off somebody. But like if you like rock music, like what makes a great rock song great? What makes a great pop song great? Or what makes something current? Or what makes it evergreen? You know? And then I don't know, you just get a feel for it. So you don't copy it necessarily, but you figure out where to break rules to make it cool and things.
But is that how you start? Do you start thinking, I want to do like All the Single Ladies kind of a song?
Kind of. So like for our recent album, West Coast Drug, the first song we wrote for that, was that West Coast Drug?
Yep.
We did? Okay. So I remember specifically, we were standing in Jimmy Kimmel waiting for, I don't know, Seal, someone.
So you were in the audience.
Yeah, we were in the audience waiting for somebody to perform.
All right.
And we had this idea, like we don't want it to be like a yay, we're on the West Coast, but we wanted to like kind of mark this time in our lives, you know, and like kind of artistically like express to like anyone outside of us who had known us before, like this is kind of like addictive, almost, you know, it's
just really like show the influence of California,
but also like be us, but still trying to kind of be cool, I guess. And then we were standing in that audience, and I think something came up with the loudspeakers, like, oh, that's a West Coast Drug. I would like look to each other,
like, oh, like, that's a good title.
That's what it is.
Well, like the warm up guy was just mentioned.
Something over the speaker came. Maybe it was like a song or something. Had like casually mentioned it, you know, it was like a throwaway. But we were like, no, that's what it is. Like and we also kind of had in the back of our heads, like we want to write something that like make our parents worried about us.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, okay, let's talk about West Coast Drug, make the album cover look vaguely like weed, but like not really.
What are you boys doing out there?
I'm trying to get a response. All right.
So the song isn't so specific, so that it's like not like there's like an underlying meaning, like it actually is about drugs. There's actually about a girl. It's actually about the West Coast. It's about like all those things.
Yeah.
So it's like the language is very vague.
Yeah, language and using the certain terms, like kind of drug terms, but meaning something else, like gives us an opportunity to, I don't know, both like get what we wanted out of scaring our parents,
but also kind of
meaning, yeah.
But trying to like, I remember, and part of it too, we were out. Our friend Kay, who works on a bunch of great shows out here, took us out to Venice Beach, if not the first time, one of the first times, and showed us like that sunset, which is still like our favorite thing to see. You know,
with that sunset.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's something so surreal about it. Maybe living here. It's like kind of.
I mean, just seeing it from the beach in Venice.
Yeah, like there's something like I know the pollution in the air makes these beautiful colors, and
that's the ocean. Seeing that because you're from the East Coast, the sun rises over the ocean, so you don't see that very often.
So it's pretty gorgeous. And there was a joke. Kay's dad, he's not going to listen to this, so it's fine. He mentioned something like we took a picture of it, and he commented on Facebook like, "You should tell Rod to write about the sunset." And that was one of those like, okay, but then like later we're like, let's do it. Like, so there was like a little bit of like a I don't know, like trying to get this idea in, but also like make it real. So it was real. Like so I guess the short version of that whole explanation is that song specifically. We came in, we're like, we want this like feeling to come through in it,
right? No
matter how it is. So that was kind of like a mad scientist in a lab. We were like writing a song, and we were also playing around with electronics. And we were like, we just want this feeling to feel like how we feel like in being in this West Coast space and like bumping around from like parties and stuff. And
all right, so you got the concept,
right?
Now, do you start just talking about that, or do you start noodling on the guitar, or how do you write it?
Started with the idea. We got a pretty good idea of what we wanted to write about, and then we moved to like trying messing around with a little bit of instrumental stuff, trying to find like what kind of groove we want, or do we want it to sound really pop, or do we want it to sound more like Latin, or do we want it to sound more like hard guitars, or electronic? So at that point, you start to like really experiment on what exactly you want it to sound like.
I think the first step of that song was I'd hammered out a couple some keyboard chords, and we were working on like a beat, because we know that those are going to kind of be important for this particular song.
I was listening to, we were both listening to a lot of that Jennifer Lopez song.
That's a good reference.
It's funny because like,
there's a rhythm track on "Ain't Your Mama."
"Ain't Your Mama," that's right.
Okay.
That is a track by Dr. Luke, which I know is not a popular thing to say right now, but he's a great producer, and we were like, there's something very I love the
timbales in it. It's like like hearing those things is just like, this is hot. I like this. Is it anywhere else? Let's listen to some more music. Like, is this a hot thing right now? And
so do you like pitch stuff to each other and play stuff to each other? Like, take this. We should do this.
Sometimes. I'm trying to think when
show each other songs that already exist. Like, I kind of like this thing here.
Well, I think Mark's talking about like songs like ideas we come up independentely and bring to each other.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes it's like that. It's like, look at this. Yeah. Look at this.
Because like Lennon and McCartney, who you guys remind me of tremendously. But they, I think they would just write them and just bring them in and done. Okay. Just on their own, it seemed like. Because there's like John Lennon sounding songs, and there's Paul McCartney sounding songs.
Yeah.
And then they would work on them together a bit. But mostly it was like, oh, I got this all figured out.
We haven't done that since the very first official like RKVC single,
right?
Which is, so this is funny. So we got tonight. Well, so we had a song called Troublemaker, which was our first collaboration as RKVC for like a holiday album. But then after that, We Got Tonight was like the first RKVC, like, this is who we are. Like, and at that time, we didn't know what this was going to be genre wise. And so we did that. We both independently went to write songs, and then we came back, and we both have Logic for our MacBooks. And we took our sessions. We're like, okay, here's our song ideas, and we both written the same song. I mean, it might have been like adjusted like a BPM or two. Or like we like literally took the sessions and you just stack them on top of each other. We wrote the same song,
like the same chords, the same
like,
similar
like,
same key,
similar
like
beat pattern,
progressions,
and stuff. And so at that point, we're like, well, now we just got to like massage this out. It was the same song though, and that's what We Got Tonight came out of, and it was just kind of that was the. I think that will always be like the initial RKVC anthem, because it's like, forget all this shit that happened during your week, whether you work a day job or not.
Yeah.
It's like right now, it's kind of like a cliche thought, but like we wanted that anthem for like living now.
I know exactly. We got tonight.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's great.
But we each wrote separate songs that end up being that same thing. So it fit perfect, because it's like We Got Tonight. Like, I don't know.
That's great, man.
And then there were songs like so those are kind of like more planned out things. Then there was that song, I know you hate the title, but we call F C D minor B flat.
Yeah.
And so that one, half was prepared and half wasn't. So like I'd always had this idea of like, Vince, it'd be great if we just like, because some of our biggest critics talk about how like pop music is easy, the same 4 chords over and over, and like not really, but you know, if you want to like dwindle down to that, you know, we can. And similar people, if not the same people, would tell us like, don't go to California, don't chase music, get a day job, work at a bank or whatever.
People are full of shit.
Yeah.
People, yeah.
And exactly. so like we're like, I want to eventually like this idea of like, let's just pick a key, pick those 4 chords that are like in so many pop songs, and just prove to them that we can do more with 4 chords than they could with their entire lives.
Yeah.
And
well, I've you know, just my ukulele group, we have these big books full of music. It's just they're like fake books, just chords and words. And you know, all these great old standards we play have tons of chords, and they're really complicated. They have diminished chords and augmented chords, and but then like Lady Gaga, 3 chords, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Like every song, like big pop, good songs have like some of them are just so concise. Like that.
If you look at them like closely, though, when the first recorded versions, they're not usually just like that. I mean, you can the melodies lend themselves to fit those.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that idea had always been there. And then we were at a party, I think at YouTube or something, and we literally we were standing at the party, like you said, at an opening of an envelope. Yeah. Like someone 2 hours before, some girl we met like at a previous party, like emailed us, something's going on at YouTube, we want to go. And we were there, and we just stood around and like, this is what it is, Vince. Like the family, the friends that told us not to do this, like I'm watching Facebook and how much they hate their lives, and they're waiting for the weekend.
See me now.
Yeah, they're waiting for the weekend, and you know, we're not millionaires. We're like living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you're living the dream.
Yeah, I mean, paycheck to paycheck is a weird thing because we don't have paychecks, but like we're living from project to project or whatever, you know. But like we're here, like we're doing what we're doing. Like if we were doing a more traditional path, we wouldn't be at some like random party for someone we have no idea who this is for. I remember who it was now. It was for Matt Pat, who we now know. Like we don't know him personally very well, but we know his work.
Oh yeah, he's a big YouTube Red star, and
we didn't know who he was. We were at a party for his show, like for Game Lab being launched, and at that party we were like, wrote this song at a party for somebody I don't know. Yeah, you know, and we're like, that's L.A. You know, like we just end up at stuff, and then like we got home from that party a little buzzed, and I remember like Vince got the guitar out and he's just and we have this habit of recording everything on the iPhone, just to sketch out. So we pulled out the iPhone, put on like a GarageBand, recorded some stuff, and Vince had the idea for the da-da, da-da.
I just played the first thing that came to mind.
We're like, let's use those 4 chords.
You guys want to play that song? You got your guitar right there. Yeah. You want to? When you sat down, you noodled those chords out.
Yeah. So we wrote that, and then like pretty much the whole song we wrote right there, because I remember we got to the where the chorus part would have been, and Vince was like, "Oh, that's why," and it was we met halfway on it because he said that's why, and it was really catchy. I said, "I wrote this song for you," and then the end of that chorus was like, "This could have been you."
I think then you said that's why, and I said you had to know the truth.
Yeah.
So we literally were writing it
like
so
line by line.
Your mouth, like
line by line.
It was so weird.
Oh, wow.
Because we were laughing at each other, like, "Oh my god, how's this working?" Like
and then like I think a day or two later or a week later, some period of time later, we sat down to actually like record it for real. And there was like this assholeness that we loved about that original demo. So the final recording is the original iPhone demo.
Really? You guys chuckle in the song. I know
that. Yeah, it's just cleaned up a little bit. But it's like it's that guitar. Like we've had friends like come, you know, they I don't know. Back up. So we had some friends that listened to the song. They're like what chain did you use to get that guitar sound and everything? We're like, it was the mic on the headphones for the iPhone into GarageBand for iPhone 6, and like it. I don't know. I think there was that moment we got back and we're like, fuck everybody that ever said we couldn't do this, you know, and here we are.
It's true, because like, I mean, you work in Hollywood, you live in Hollywood. I've been doing this for 30 years, showbiz, you know, and it's feast and famine. You get hired, you do a job, and it's great for like a month, and you're making like serious bread, and then it just dies.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the hell's going to happen next, you know, so you're paycheck to paycheck always. You're struggling. But you're still not working in a bank or something, you know what I mean? Like when I went to my, I think, 25th high school reunion or some big round number, and I'm at this party, and I'm just trying to tell people that like, I don't have any money. I don't know what's doing. And they're like, wow, you worked on that show. Wow, they got like,
Yeah.
they're dazzled by just the idea of like being kind of in touch with show business.
Yeah.
And being on Hollywood Boulevard. And, you know, the stuff you see on TV is like stuff people I know. And, you know, it's just that.
Having celebrity
it's
friends.
undeniably glamorous and fun.
Which is, yeah, it's still cool because we were talking the other day about like how being here, we literally, there have been times we're walking through like the Grove or something. We have like a minute we need to kill. Like it's not long enough to go away, but like we need to stick around for a little bit. So we're like, let's get some coffee. So we go upstairs to Barnes & Noble, and then in line for coffee we hear music and we think, oh, we should go check that out. And we walk over. I'm looking like, that's Linda Perry. She's playing in the corner of Barnes & Noble. And are you familiar with Linda Perry?
No, who's that?
So she was the lead singer for Non Blondes.
Oh,
And she is also she's a like arguably legendary songwriter. She wrote "Beautiful" for Christina Aguilera and "Get This Party Started."
Yeah.
And, like endless like hits. Like she's a huge songwriter now, and so truly really respect her. Like I remember there was the day that she like followed me back on Twitter, and like the day was just over. Like I screen capped it, put it on Facebook. I'm like, going to sleep, not gonna get better. And so like she was just playing the corner of Barnes and Noble because her and her wife Sarah Gilbert from Roseanne and shows like that, they did a kids album for their daughter.
Oh.
And I think daughter. I'm sorry if I got this wrong. Their baby, but like the baby's so small I didn't know what gender. But and they were playing the songs from it in the corner of Barnes and Noble.
Did they have an audience? Was there a crowd around?
Yeah. In fact, the audience was so full that we weren't supposed to be there, but the security guards could tell that we were into it. So they were like, when they go to sign autographs, you have to leave, but like just go ahead and stay back here and you can watch it. And where does that happen? You know, like.
Yeah, where can you do that?
And you know, one of our friends is a singer that we, convinced to move from Delaware to here, and like her second week out here, she bumped into Lil Wayne. Literally bumped into Lil Wayne at a party. They're like best friends now, like. And we're like, that's stuff that doesn't happen unless you're in like a place. It's not even just because it's Los Angeles, but it's because it's Los Angeles. You know, like it's other creative people are here.
Well, it's like the country is sort of tilted west, and like all of the creative people kind of roll towards the coast, And also it's like generations of people coming here for the movies and for television and everything.
Yeah. And
then their kids, and it's the dream factory.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody. I know a lot of people who I went to film school with who just like after a while they couldn't hack it and they went into the Midwest somewhere, or they gave up, or they worked somewhere much straighter.
Yeah, which is fine. So that's not what this song was about. Yeah. But like it was the people who are truly unhappy themselves and want to see us just as unhappy. Yeah. Because misery loves company, and a lot of
you'll see when you go out there and Hollywood breaks your heart.
It's like, well, it's broken our heart, but it's a pretty cool experience.
It's pretty cool though.
Like, it's pretty good in bed. So there's that. But
again, these are nuggets you're dropping here. These are jewels.
Lots of poutine out here.
Nuggets of gold.
Yeah, they got smokes down in Hollywood.
Lots of poutine.
Lots of poutine. Yeah. This podcast is brought to you by Smokes Poutine in Hollywood on Selma and Cahuenga.
A sidebar, like not even a sponsorship. Love that place.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd love it. Like I always get excited about it. And I go, I can go to Smokes, but I always am delighted when it arrives, enjoy it while I'm eating it, and regret it immensely when it's over.
Because then you have to think about like eating 3 pounds of potatoes with gravy and cheese curds on it.
It's like picture a child's tin lunchbox full of French fries, some kind of meat, and cheese curds and gravy and other stuff. Yeah. It just depends on what you want, but it's like solid, like a brick of that, of heavy animal matter.
And if you get it to stay, then they double fill it.
Oh, they don't. Oh, yeah.
Because it's not closed, and they fill it all the way up to like.
I've only ever had it there. I've never had it to go. Yeah, so I'm eating like a portion and a half.
Yeah, so if you go to get it to go, they have to be able to close it. But they like straight. The girl that works the counter, she asks like, "Do you want it here to go?" I was like, "Well, I'm going to eat it here, but is there a difference?" She's like, "You get more."
Oh,
it's like it's almost twice as much.
Come to think of it, you're right. I've taken a lot of Instagrams of this. I should go back and check what it is. Like, it's like domed up over the thing.
Oh,
yeah, amazing.
And they get creative with those flavors.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, as much as like we give Hollywood like that actual part of LA a lot of shit because parts of it are really disgusting, but like but Smokes is great, and like I love Amoeba Records, which is down the street.
It's terrific. Yeah.
Like if I don't even have to have money, I just love being in the presence of records like that.
Fiona and I went to Amoeba a couple of weeks ago. Just nothing to do really. We just went. you know what? That's not true. My mom, who's selling our house in Indiana, has sent me all of her vinyl records.
Oh, nice.
But most of all the good ones we took ages ago. So this is like down to the crap, basically. So like box sets of Mantovani and stuff.
Yeah.
Like pop classical music from the 60s. It's like, nobody wants this. But I put it like about a milk crate worth. And I put it on a dolly, and I took it in there to where they buy your records. And the guy flipped through and said, well, I think I have to take this as a donation. Okay. I'm like, oh, so you're offering a $0? I'll take it. Yeah. But so we were down there, and we walked around for like 2 hours, just flicking through stuff and finding stuff and the videos, and it was just so cool. And it was throbbing. It was just full of people.
Yeah. Really love that stuff.
I really wanted to wash my hands afterwards. Everything there.
Everything's dusty.
Has been around the world twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because if you've ever had a project or a band that's done anything like, even for like a little bit of time, it's probably in that store. Yeah. Like you'll find like old band projects and things.
So when you go find your stuff in stores and put it up in the front or stick it up on the over the top part?
No.
And cap it?
I'm trying to think. Sometimes. So at Best Buy I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the end cap thing, Best Buy just did for my solo project.
Oh, cool.
Because they God bless Mickey Gentile, music.
What does your album cover look like? Is it like you shirtless on a beach, or
the
astride a panther?
The one that was at Best Buy
eating smokes.
The one that was at Best Yeah, the one at Best Buy had I was standing kind of posed for a photo, and the girl we were talking about was pulling my tie, and depending on how you interpret it, either off or just yanking me by the chain. But leaving like a cassette tape in my pocket. And so there's many interpretations of that. But the initial one was like, they'll leave me, but they'll leave me with a good song. So
it sounds like a cool like new wave 80s sort of photo. Like
kind of, yeah.
Cars or something.
And
Elvis Costello.
The title bar, just because of our height difference, the title bar of the thing, it was purposely a sensor bar that goes over my mouth and then over her eyes. Oh. So it was kind of like, and titled the album All About You, because I wanted everyone that ever giving me shit to be neurotic about if it was them.
So really, your chief motivation in your creativity is revenge.
Pettiness.
Pettiness. Okay.
I love pettiness.
I like playing music.
Well, music is number one, but if you need a motivation.
Well, we've been at this for an hour. We should play a song or something.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Or write a song.
Speaking of pettiness.
Do you want to play?
Let's do this. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll play a song. Okay, we're back with RKVC, and they're about to play, what's it called?
F, C, D minor, B flat.
And take it away, guys.
Wrote this song at a party for somebody I don't know. Got invited by a girl that I met a couple hours ago.
Everybody is a friend of a friend or a movie star. They start to sing along when I pick up my guitar.
That's why I wrote this song for you. That's why
you had to know the truth.
when you hear this song on the radio. You hear my voice and then you know. That's why this could have been you. Shot the shit with your favorite band, now we're best friends. Hope you're getting by alright with your backup plan.
You're living for the weekend, I forgot what day it is. Would've called you out by name, but can't remember it.
That's why I wrote this song for you. That's why
you had to know the truth.
when you hear this song on the radio. You hear my voice and then you know. That's why
This could have been you.
for every time you said I'd be alone.
For every chance I took on my own.
For every dream you couldn't see.
For every time you doubted me.
why I wrote this song for you. That's why you had to know the truth. When you hear this song on the radio, you hear my voice and then you know. That's why. That's why I wrote this song for you. That's why you had to know the truth. When you hear this song on the radio, you hear my voice and then you know. That's why this could have been you.
This could have been you. This could have been you.
You guys are awesome. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. And on the first take, too. Wow.
Yeah. I know. I was worried about that one.
I know, yeah. You guys really nailed it. That's what I was wondering about Rockstar. How do you learn all the words, remember all the words? It's just you've done it so many times, you just have it? Or is there any effort involved? Or, you know, do you have to, like, rehearse?
There is rehearsing. There is warming up the voice. Coffee helps, actually.
Oh, yeah?
See, now that I've sang, I like feel smoother.
Well, you're also on a different mic now. We've done a switcheroo because for the whole podcast so far, Vince was on that mic and Rod was on that mic.
That's right.
Let's see here.
Vince kept poking me.
And,
the guitar head is always in the way.
It's rearranged. But I think that mic 3, which is the cheapest of the mics, is maybe the warmest one as far as my ear sounds.
Oh.
These mics, in order of cost, this one here is the, what is it? It's
EV.
Like the EV mic. It's very nice. It's meant for a field recording, for interviewing people on the street, right? So say something in there.
Hello.
Have I got you turned up?
Oh.
It's actually...
Oh, you're turned up. You're up.
It's like it's a...
But there is, you know what? There's a -20. Oh, I've got the -20 thing clicked on that one only. Maybe that's the problem.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi. I was like, gee, Vince is being so quiet and reticent. No, it was just his mic and the pad clicked in there.
Yeah, on the side of it, it says 150 ohms, and then it says dynamic omnidirectional. So it must be both? Because dynamic is more of like a,
Dynamic
narrow...
just means you have to be close to it.
Yeah.
So this is picking up around.
But you got to be pretty close to it, yeah. But it is pretty omnidirectional, and that's like a vocal mic,
right?
Which costs $20 at Radio Shack, Guitar Center, which I think you guys are a little familiar with.
So last year. Oh yeah.
And then my mic here is I think it's Russian, Avlex. I got it on eBay a few years ago for like $200 maybe.
Oh.
But this is like a real nice one.
It's nice directional.
This apparently is the one that Huell Hauser uses for California Stories.
Okay.
Which is his interview. So, that's fantastic. Huh? Look at that. And he puts it right in the face. But it's real good. And anyway, this is all being recorded because this is a podcast about how you make things. So, we get behind the scenes. We've got a huge tangent. Your song was awesome. I think we got to hear the whole story of it. And now we get to hear it does sort of organically flow out of you guys, it seems like. It's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Was I at that? I wasn't at that party, I don't think. I think I was. I've been at like 9 out of 10 parties.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could definitely see Mark Gray in the video, though.
And Professor Puppet.
Oh, at that video, at that party?
No, remember from the edit bays?
You were the guy with the VR on.
Oh.
That was that video.
That's why.
Oh, no. I'm in the video. Yeah. I'm in the party where you thought of it. From your origin story there.
The Matt Pat party. No, I don't know if you were that.
You might have been there earlier in the day. I guess we did the video separately.
I remember not going to that because I never heard of that channel, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, obviously neither did we.
Or you were in post.
But what's funny is like afterwards we realized we'd watched hundreds of his videos. We just didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I keep adjusting the wrong knob on this damn thing. Oh, well. I got to put big numbers. The numbers are right there. I can see them.
Just put arrows towards which mic is what.
It's all right because I can mix it all later and something.
Make it all real nice.
Make it all sound just gorgeous. But I'm impressed by how good that cheap microphone sounds, actually, I must say.
Very good.
Maybe it's just you guys because you guys are so deep and baritone. Are you baritone or is that a different thing?
I was classified as baritone in choir.
Yeah, same here.
Cool. I was classified as not in the choir. I have a higher voice than you guys. I don't know what it would be, but But that's it. I think that's good. Thank you guys for being on my podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Mark.
Be sure if any listeners want to send us questions for podcasts in the future about anything or suggestions, use our Google Voice phone number, which is very easy to remember. It's 513 Fart Owl. 513 Fart Owl. Woohoo! Okay, there's your mnemonic.
Let me call that right now.
Call it right now. And I won't answer, but I'll leave a voicemail. That's 513 Fart Owl. And you can leave us a question or a comment or a suggestion of who you want to see on the podcast or here. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube watching this. And be sure to give us a review on iTunes for Crafty Time. Give me a little outro here. All right. As we drive out into the sunset, thank you, Rod. Thank you, Vince, for coming over to my place.
Thank you.
And drinking coffee. And now I feel like I want to just make 10 more songs, which it is today.
Start with these 4 chords.